Hi guys, this is People, Places, Things, and in History. This is Carol Church Gardner coming at you, and I hope you have a nice Monday. But Mondays we have to go back to work, so this would be probably boo. But this is, somebody suggested this, and I figure I would give you a history lesson in between. They wanted to hear about Indian movies, so they said their favorite. And I'll tell you, at the last one, I really didn't see one of them, but these were some of my favorites, so here we go. Jeremiah Johnson. It's rated PG. It's the older version. It was made in 1972. I was only 1 year old when this came out. Wow. It's a long movie. Robert Redford and Paul Benedict plays on it. It's about a guy who is Jeremiah Johnson. He ends up getting out of the war. He's tired of being in town. He actually goes out and starts to get to be a guy that is actually one of the guys that goes out and lives in the forest. So he's actually a mountain man. So he goes out and he's doing whatever mountain man does, killing bear and finding things. And on his way on this little adventure, he ends up finding a crazy lady. She gives him his boy because everybody in her family but her got massacred. And she actually gives her son to Jeremiah Johnson and grow up. So he goes to the Flathead Nation, and they marry him to their daughter, and somebody's daughter, and he really doesn't want her. He's not in love with her, but they still get married at the end. Towards the end, in the middle, he has to be an actual guide for the troops. The troops can't go around. It would take too long, so they go through a Native American graveyard. Now, these are taboo, even in Native American, because only you could go with a medicine man and a burial party. Any other time, you're not allowed to really go see the corpse. So this was really a no-no. So they find Jeremiah Johnson's wife and his adopted son. They kill him off. And then he gets mad and he starts killing the Indians. And they start calling him Ghost Man. So they think he's a ghost, but he's not a ghost. He's pretty well still thinking of his wife and his kid. And he ends up going back, and there's another family where he got his son, and he ends up going in, and he tells the new family it's not going to work. You have to really watch this one, because this one's a good one. It tells you how the Indian side of things, and it may be a mountain man, and actually Grandpa Walton plays on this, so, it was kind of good. So I would suggest you to watch it. And actually, Grandpa Walton ends up being another mountain man. So yes, and he actually played on the Waltons after this. So I would suggest you to watch it. There was a little thing, like I said, they weren't, being Native American myself, you don't desecrate a grave. And you don't go in without a burial party. There's a lot of things different tribes do. They bury their dead different, but every one of them learns respect for the graves. And when he went in, he didn't have respect for them, so that's why he got punished. Another one that I liked was an old one. I Will Fight No More Forever. This one was PG. This one's rated for everybody. This one was in 1975, so I was 4 years old when this was made. It's an hour and 46 minutes long. James James Whitemore plays on it, and Linda Redfern. They both play on this. It's pretty good. It's about the Nez Perce Indians. The Nez Perce has... Okay, this one's about the Nez Perce. The Nez Perce was... They were Native Americans who had to get off of where their land was to be moved to a reservation. This is what this movie's about. So it's talking about the hard struggles of Chief Joseph and his tribe trying to get away from the actual people who's trying to put them on a reservation. They don't want to go on a reservation, and this is the general that has to put them on the reservation. He feels for the Indians. He does not want to put them on a reservation, but they still have to go, so this is his job. He likes Joseph a lot. On this movie, you'll have to have maybe a tissue because it'll start making you cry at parts. But actually, the Nez Perce is actually in horse world known as having the only ones that has an Appaloosa horses. Yes, the Appaloosa horses is the main part of these Indians. They really like taking care of them. And when you belong to the Appaloosa Club, this is the actual people, and we will dress up like them. But this is a whole movie about this. You have to watch it. It's a really good one. It's a sad one. But this is, yes, actually how they were treated. So, yes, this is actually... And the sad part is, this is how a lot of them was treated when they had to move off the reservation. He fought real hard. His people... half the people dies. He can't find them. He's distraught at the end. But it's a good one. That's why you're going to need your box of tissues, guys. Because if you like it. But also I would like to say that the horses that they do use, I personally owned about 3 or 4 of them. My family did. And you liked to use the colorful horses with the most white and different colors because they could show the war paint off for psychological warfare with you on the horse. And not only that, these horses you have to treat as family. You can't just treat them like they're nothing. Otherwise, they go rebellious. Ours, we treated actually like a family member. They were our brothers or sisters, our sons, whatever. And they were the best horses you ever wanted. I mean, if you're going to treat them like family, they'll bend over backwards for you. So this is why they probably like that breed. Personally, I love the breed. I've had quarter horses and different ones, and I really like that breed. And so the next one would be I Buried My Heart in Wounded Knee. It was made on May the 27th, 2007. It was an HBO special, guys. And it's 132 minutes. It's based on a book. Adam Beach plays on it, and Doran Howard. Yes, these two play a wonderful part. Yes, shows you a young boy, yes, that's on the plains. Indian. He loves to be there. He doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to go where Dad wants to take him. He wants to be free. This is a wonderful movie. It tells you how he's goes to the Indian reservation. He becomes a white boy. But he's not really white. He's Indian. Because why? Because he is Native American. He knows he is. They make him cut off his locks or his braids. They make him do different things. He's not allowed to be an Indian no more. He keeps the feather for years and years. He's only got his head feather. He actually falls in love with this woman who actually is, when he grows up, he becomes a doctor. He's a scholarship. He's a scholarship winner. So that's how he becomes a doctor. He marries a white woman who wants to be a teacher. They fall in love. They get married. Then they go on the off the reservation. It's about the boy. It's about Sitting Bull. Sitting Bull goes to Canada. Canada doesn't want him there, wants him there, but they have restrictions. They, as Braves, does the wrong thing. They're kicked out of Canada, back in the United States, and it rolls like a ball. The boys don't want to be at the boy that is at the reservation. It shows you how his struggles was, how the Indians struggled going to Canada and back. And yes, and it also tells you how he becomes a doctor. Curly is actually Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse's wife got married twice to two men. She ends up having a child by Crazy Horse. He has a 3-month-old or a 3-year-old daughter, whichever one I forget, but he actually had a daughter by her, and she dies. She dies of smallpox or some disease that the Indians isn't immune to. And he ends up going when he gets captured. They actually, when he fights a little bighorn and gets captured, and they put him in jail, and the jail cell he breaks out. And when he breaks out, what happens? They bayoneted him not too long from the jail. He dies before this was even supposed to have happened. So we are so sad that he got bayoneted. Feet away from the jail cell. It was back then. It was scary for the Indians. They couldn't understand what was really going on. They only were getting assimilated. Out here in East, we were already assimilated into that productivity. But the thing of it is, out there, they didn't want things to change. So this is what happens when change happens and you don't want it to change, guys. So you really want to sit there and actually, they killed Sitting Bull. This shows you how he gets killed, where he gets killed, and actually he worked for Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill ends up giving him a present. They don't even let his present even live. This is so sad how the Ghost Scouts had went into Wounded Knee, and Bigfoot's family was even killed or tried. Son of the Morning Star. The Son of the Morning Star is a PG-13, guys. And it's actually a 2-parter. It was done in February 3, 1991. It starred Gary Cole, and it also had Dan Stockwell, and it was based on a book, and it originally aired on ABC. Alright, this one is about a guy who is Custard. Yes, this is going to be Custard's last stand. But it does the Indian side. Like, they didn't do the Indian side. So this actually does the Indian side, which is actually cool. This is where you see how they seen Custard and what Custard was actually like. And when you actually ran out of his troop, he would have the guys come and gun you down. So, I mean, this is actually shown on that side, and his pet bird. I'm not going to say, guys, because you got to watch it, because this is, like, very odd. So, he actually has a pet on there. They show you, he really didn't mind the Indians, so they didn't do it on his wife's side. But she did her own books, and this is a book based on what the Indians seen out of him. He wasn't that much of an Indian hater, and he was just didn't listen to anybody who wanted him to be listened to. So this is actually a story of how the troops seen him. So this troops would come in, and they went and they thought they were in the end, and the Indians told him no, they were going to be in the middle of the camp. He disbands them. This shows you the last horror. It's kind of gory at the end, but they have to tell the whole story, kids. So, don't worry. It might not give you nightmares, but, it's kind of a good thing that they're showing both sides of this story. Because there's always 2 coins. You flip a coin, there's heads, and there's the other side that's got just emblems. So which one would you get? You got to flip the coin. Alright, the next one. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned Curly before, and I mentioned him, Sitting Bull. You'll find a whole bunch of other ones. We all know that General Custer came out of West Point Academy. He had high honors. He came out and he actually was a general who was not top grade like George Washington was when he was younger, but he still has a job of duty, so he still does it. So this is not his story, but this is the Indian story that went with him to the battle and what happened and how they reacted to the Enola scene. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Squantos, A Warrior's Tale. This one's an hour and 42 minutes long. This one was PG-13, a Walt Disney film, October 28, 1994 it was made. Adam Beach is there, and Sharon Peters is there, and it's actually a history one. They actually capture, this is a capture one, they go off and they capture these Native Americans, and they take them back over for Britain for their own entertainment. They present them in front of the queens, they do whatever. Well, this one breaks loose, and he actually goes to a monastery. He actually, goes there. A lot of times they would capture American Indians, especially the coastal ones. They would take them back to England or wherever, and we were either made fun of or be a sideshow or whatever. But this is what would actually happen to a lot of Native Americans. This one, yes, this one's based a lot on the truth that would happen. It's the one that was on the coastal. They stole him, and they ended up actually taking him in, and he's in the Caribbean, and he was actually a slave at that point. To a lot of us. Another one I would like to add on to this one, because I'm going to maybe have to do another part, because there is so much to talk about on this, and I'm giving you a history lesson on top of it, is Windtalkers. Windtalkers, it is rated R 2002, 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's about actually how, back in the day, Native Americans had to use their language for World War II, so we could outbeat the Germans. The Germans knew, and all the other ones knew English and whatever, but when they threw the twist and turn at them was how they had a Native Americans talking code. This is about, this one's got actually Adam Beach on it, and Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage has actually got to take care of this guy, Adam Beach, whatever, I forgot what his name was on there, but yes, he's got to take care of this Adam Beach, all the while he's trying to fight in the battle himself. His job is to protect this guy. This has actually happened, yes, and they also had a Sioux Nation actually doing the same thing, and they won. These guys had American tanks to go after the German tanks. The reason why, they didn't know where these guys were, because they talked in Native American code. How cool is that? They did a Sioux Nation code. And also, I would like to say that, they did actually torture one of the Navajos, and they actually tortured him to death to try to get the codes out. So yes, there was actually one who didn't know the code, but they treated him like he did know the code. So this one's actually a true story. Might not be that true. So thank you, Melanie A. Redice. Thank you, Connie Stockland. And thank you, Eileen Recis, for giving me a like. I'm still adding names. I'll say your name. I'll see you later. Carol Churchgarden is signing off. I can't make this too funny, but you can always guess the noise behind me, guys. Have a good day. Have a good Monday. See yous. See you out for Friday.